my grave. Whisper to your God, allow me to be saved. Oh my God, can I be saved and not forgot? I'll hold out, oh, it's not too late, so I'll pray it's not too late. Grave digger, take what I have left, give it to the lost upon my dying breath. Save me if you can, the time for me has come. Let me be the one that got away.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah, guys. Welcome to Red Snow. About the only damn thing that bothers me about those intros is that the way my stuff is set up, I don't get any audio off them, so I miss the hype machine with the audio. All I get to do is just watch them scroll by. But hope you guys like that one. That was, I think they came out pretty good. So anyway, let's get into Red Snow, shall we? Hope everybody is sufficiently hyped up to see what's going to go down. So let's see, how are we going to start this show off? It looks like with this red guy, the segment entitled Silent Night. I am assuming that this is the Red Skull Order guy, but I could be wrong on that. We'll find out. I'm trying to get my my setup good to still be able to see a decent amount of chat. All right, cool. Let's get going. So we're starting off. The snow falling around the slaughterhouse logo. Snow instantly. Perfect. But then the slaughterhouse logo cuts off. We go into darkness. A large oak table in the middle of a darkened hall, lit by red-colored wall candles that illuminate only the table itself. A skull is finely carved into the center, bold and beautiful. Is it also young and restless? Around it, 4 chairs sit. Slowly but surely, cloaked figures start entering the room. They take a seat at the table, all wearing masks, but only one is illuminated, and it's red. He's got a gavel. He slams it down on the table. He says, "Skulls, I'm afraid I've had to summon you to this emergency meeting with grave news." His eyes are barely visible through the mask, but he's still frustrated. You can see it. And he's led to believe that his greatest fear will shortly be realized. Our texts have done their job and muddled the purpose of our order, but it isn't enough. He still searches for the item Stephen stole from us. He's close to finding it. Someone interrupts and says, "Can he be reasoned with?" Red Skull shrugs and says, "I don't know. Should he find it? Flavo, you'll need to speak with him." Flavo is going to go speak with him and says, "Yes, I'll keep a watchful eye." And says, "Does the skull know of our current affairs?" Red Skull says he does, but we're not in that dire of a situation yet that he must be summoned. If we contain this threat, as I created the order to do, he won't need to be bothered. Be on high alert, Skulls. We don't know why Sigil wants the item. We don't know what purpose it serves him or what he knows of it. It will not be a silent night. Nice. What's next? What's our first match? Obasi Bokamo versus Luke Marshall. No, this is a segment maybe. It says singles match. But it says somewhere else, present day. A church in the middle of an arid desert, smoke billowing from its blown windows. A recent explosion from a tank shell leaves the building smoldering. Vultures circle it. Two men stand across from each other inside the church. Men who've known each other for a long time. It's Marshall and Bacamo. Luke's clothes are blackened by smoke. He's bleeding. Obasi, this is the match. He charges in. His huge weight advantage is put to good use. He takes Marshall down with a lariat. He opened the fight with the Black Death. Marshall's out cold, but Obasi's not done, and he says, many years ago, I said you should leave, white man. Now I must insist you leave. And he curb stomps him, and his nose explodes. Obasi drags him to his feet, contorting his body as he begins to rouse, his weak, thin arms flailing, and he hits the suffering, the guillotine chokehold. He says, I told you many years ago, there is no God but me. Are we going to see a death? I see some people wanting blood. Well, I don't know. Oh, man. Bacamo was victorious by knockout from the guillotine. But Obasi isn't done. He picks one of his feet up and drags him down the aisle, a trail of blood spreading behind the unconscious self-professed father. He drags the lifeless body of his opponent out into the baking heat of the African desert as the vultures circle lower in the sky. Nice. Okay. All right, I think I've got my stuff set up good now. Gods of War. I told you, white boy, if God is still here, it's only to watch the suffering. Obasi drops the body of Luke Marshall. Sand gathers around his wound, the gash above his eye, the broken nose, and the countless lacerations from tank, missile, shrapnel. That's what we like to see. Marshall is regaining consciousness, though. Obasi paces around him. The sun catches an object being pulled from the belt of the Blood King. He's got a knife. And he says this here knife traveled many miles to be with us today. It's from an old Siberian militia that he had the honor of shooting in the face. It's been used many times, but only for one purpose. A jeep pulls around. His militia's here. They're hammering poles into the ground and says, today I'm going to show you the purpose of the knife. They drag Marshall over to the 4 posts. They strip him naked. That's our first penis of the show. Tying each of his limbs to one post so that he's suspended in the air. Torture's been around a long time, white boy. But he says it was perfected by the Siberians in World War I. Obasi traces lines around the wrists, up the forearms, around the shoulders. And of course, Marshall's screaming as Obasi begins to peel the skin from his arm. Oh, excuse me. They skinned their enemies alive, then left them for the wolves. But he says, even though we only have vultures, the jeeps leave, the vultures land. Oh, that's brutal. Our first death of the day. As we go to Junkrat and Monty Strait. And of course, we're in Gary, Indiana. In the middle of a wasteland, a ring. It's rigged to the asshole with explosives. The mayoral sash is on the line, and perhaps a lot more, as Monty Strait takes on Junkrat in a battle for mayoral supremacy. Timekeeper Space Rat rings the bell. Junkrat and Monty, they circle each other up, a little cat and mouse going on. Strait shoots on Junkrat's leg, but Junkrat escapes. Double axe handle over Straight's back. Junkrat drops to a knee, transitions into a side headlock. He wrenches Monty's neck a few times as they both move to their feet. Monty's able to back up and bounce off the ropes, using the momentum to shove Junkrat off of him. But good old JR bounces off the opposite set of ropes and nails Monty with a drop kick. Monty hits the mat, reaches his feet, another drop kick. Monty gets back up and dodges the next one. Junkrat's hit the ground in the belly. Punt kick across Junkrat's jaw and nose. Blood spurts out of his nostrils. Poor Junkrat. Monty moves in. He tries to lock him in straight shooting, but Junkrat pushes him into the turnbuckle. Junkrat kips up. Monty goes for the clothesline, but Junkrat hooks his arm with the crucifix, one of my favorite moves. Big props for putting the crucifix pin in here. 1, 2, no, it's going to be a kick out. Monty reaches his feet, dodges a lariat, spins him around, puts Junkrat up on his shoulders. He's got him in the torture rack. Shades of the total package. Junkrat cries out, but Monty shifts it into a brainbuster. Monty Straight is in control. He's got Junkrat's legs, and he locks in the straight shooting, and he's got his knee on Junkrat's neck. Junkrat is tapping out. It's over. But the ref doesn't see it. One of those dirty space rats is on the apron. Monty sees what's going on. He lets go. He goes to the space rat. He slaps the piss and vinegar right out of his mouth. The space rat drops to the cold concrete. Monty turns around. The concussion mine. The tilt-a-whirl DDT. He makes the cover. Is Junkrat going to steal it? 1, 2. No, he's not. Monty hangs on, but a voice comes over the loudspeaker that says self-destruct sequence engaged. And a beeping noise begins playing. They know they have to pick up a win soon. Remember, this is an exploding ring match. Junkrat goes for a crossbody, but Monty catches him. The deal breaker, the Emerald Flosion Power Slam. The beeping sound is getting faster. But another space rat is here. He's jiving the referee. And another, Monty's taking him on. But he never sees the third space rat. Steel chair to the head of Monty. Space rat forced out of the ring. The referee leaves the squared circle. Won't get his hazard pay. The beeps are going crazy. Junkrat and Monty are both down. And the ring explodes. Hot damn. Junkrat and Monty soar into the air. And when they hit the ground, Junkrat lands on top of Monty. Monty's shoulders are down. And the cover 1, 2, not like this, 3. It's over. Junkrat has no idea he has won the mayorship of Gary, Indiana, as he is completely unconscious. But he has down so. Down so? He has done so. The town is his, but at what cost? Hot damn. That was certainly an explosive match. Worthy of being on AEW Dynamite. I'll stop with the puns as we go to Begg and Alton Whitlock. Is it the match? No. It's just a segment entitled Blackballed. In the backstage room of Berkshire Ellison Green, the world champion sits alongside Mark Goldern, talking business out of their respective matches. Whitlock sheepishly enters. He's not frustrated anymore, he's just somber. Begg says, well, if it isn't Mr. I'm done, come to pick up your things, big shot. But Alton says, you know why I'm here. His team has gone from pillar to post searching for new funding and they can't secure a dime. He's been blackballed. Goldern just laughs. Asshole. Says, when are you going to understand the dynamic here? Green says, I'm the only game in town. Whitlock closes his eyes and leans his head back. But Green continues, my offer is still on the table. I'll fund your campaign, have you in office. I'm offering to give you everything you need. And what I've asked for in comparison is minute. You're asking me to compromise everything I am, Whitlock says. You're demanding I change policies, create conflict, and turn my back on all that I promised my supporters. Don't you understand how difficult that is? Green places a hand on the shoulder of his puppet and says, ask yourself whether those things truly matter. Ask yourself whether or not finding the man who did this, indicating the scar, matters more. And says, I'll see you in the ring tonight, dear fellow. Hot, hot damn. All right, we're going to keep moving. We've got Banzan, the judge, and Scrimshaw on 3 fronts. This is at ringside. Marching, the thunderous marching. The slaughterhouse is shaking as the entrance ramp becomes a means to deploy a militia of monks. I enjoy the alliteration. All who have a fire in their eyes. All who have a fire in their eyes as they fill the ring. Surrounded by his men, Banzan turns to face the crowd, his eyes peeled for the man he has been sent to destroy. As if on cue, the sounds of howling fill the air, and from the crowd itself, storming towards the ring, Scrimshaw and his crew. The pirates rejuvenated, fangs bared, and bloodlust in their hearts. No one could say who threw the first punch. We're only here to see who threw the last one. The monks' training and discipline were an even match for the battle-hungry ferocity of the pirate crew. The war waged outside of the ring, and Scrimshaw found himself rushing inside, face to face with the mountain. They trade blows, ferociously hammering away. I'll keel-haul you, Banzan. Me and me crew will be freed of our curse once I bring in your head. The mountain headbutts him. Says, my head, once I've removed you from this world, the judge can help remove Beg's men from our mountain. The mention of the judge, Scrimshaw stops. He went to question when a plume of purple smoke fills the arena in the blink of an eye. A third man stood in the ring, while a third army filled the ringside area. It's the judge. Haymaker to Scrimshaw. Elbow to Banzan. The judge has taken both men down. The 2 militia leaders look at the judge as the ancient being stares out at the battle of ringside. His clones capitalizing on the chaos. Great alliteration in this segment. It says, you two never saw it coming. Why would I send either of you to do my work? He just needed them in the same place. He's betrayed them, double-crossed them, hoodooed them, hoodwinked them. It says, if either of you are left alive, then your sway over these men will lead to chaos and destruction. With both of you gone, order shall be restored. Banzan and Scrimshaw realized they weren't allies, they were enemies. So they're going to do what they need to do to survive. We're to the match. Hell yeah. We've got an army of Scrimshaw's wolf-like crew from the tales of yesteryear. An army of monk companions from the Tiger's Nest. And an army of the judge's very own clones. They're all around the ring. The war begins. All hell breaks loose. Fang pirates attacking monks, monks attacking clones, clones attacking Fang pirates, and everything in between. Scrimshaw watches the chaos outside the ring and turns to move in on Banzan. Big boot! The judge takes him out early with a boot to the cranium. Scrimshaw's out. The judge turns to Banzan and charges the indestructible mountain. Another big boot! Scrimshaw's out like a light. The mountain doesn't even budge from the big boot. Spinning kick to the head knocks the judge out. Banzan makes a cover, but Scrimshaw breaks it up. It's going hot and heavy, but the mountain is pissed. Well, that didn't go as well as I thought it would. The mountain. Banzan has got a handful of Scrimshaw's hair. He tosses the old sea dog over the top rope and into the melee outside. Banzan turns around and says, the past may bite you. The judge has a mouthful of Banzan's head and he's clamping down with those sharp teeth. Banzan's blood pours from the wound the judge is making in Banzan's head. 3 of the monks rush into the ring. 3 of the clones rush in. The judge frees Banzan from his jaw and kicks him in the gut. The clones do the same thing. The monks and Banzan. 4 restoration power bombs. The judge makes the cover on Banzan with a 1. 2. No. Banzan kicked out. He's indestructible. That's in his name. Scrimshaw's tired of this shit. He's got brass knucks. To one clone's head. To another. To a third. But the judge catches Scrimshaw with a Sparta kick. No, he doesn't. Scrimshaw ducked it. Diving shoulder block onto the judge's knee. Loved that move too. The judge falls. Enziguri by Scrimshaw. He goes for the captain's hook, but the judge is fighting him. Scrimshaw tries to get it logged in, but the MAGA by Banzan. Out of nowhere, he takes Scrimshaw's head clean off. As their respective armies are at war with one another outside the ring, Banzan has taken control. He quickly moves to his corner and sizes up the judge. Scrimshaw's out. He's just waiting for Judge to sit up. Banzan charges in. He nails the MAGA. 1, 2. Oh, and that's it. He's picked up a huge victory over 2 men he went to war with, the monks he led from Tiger's Nest, finding the victory just as sweet as their leader. Hayden with back-to-back victories. Killing it. Killing it. What's next? Ooh, we've got our influencers, Seesaw and Kenny Freeman. Let's hear about the toy box. We're on CCTV, people. As the daze slowly leaves Kenny Freeman's eyes, he awakens to the horror of what surrounds him. 4 wooden walls the size of a wrestling ring. He sat dead square in the middle of a rickety wooden chair. Blood dried on his face from a gash on his forehead. Then he remembers what brought him here. And he says, this is it. This is the toy box. And Seesaw says, do you like it? He's excited, like a kid on Christmas. It's filled with all my favorite toys, especially since you're here. Kenny says, well, what happens now? Seesaw grins, walks over to him and says, we play. I've built this just for you, Kenny. You should see some of the toys we have to play with tonight. Kenny says, it isn't just for me. This is for you and your sick delusion. I'm not a toy, Seesaw. I'm a human being. I'm flesh and blood. But Mr. Make-Believe says, what's the matter, Kenny? Don't you like it? You haven't even seen the toys we get to play with yet. There's so many wondrous things inside the toy box. Freeman says he's made a mistake. I should have never entertained you. Let me out of here right now. Seesaw undoes his restraints. Kenny stands up, heads for the door, but there's no door. Only 4 wooden walls. Seesaw skips around in circles and says, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Who else will I have to play with? He's installed a CCTV so children all around the world can see us play. Freeman realizes if he wants out of there alive, he has to play with Seesaw and survive. All right. Kenny doesn't even wait for the bell. He hops out. He's throwing rights and lefts. Seesaw doesn't even react. The match is on. Freeman hops on the rocking chair with a jumping back elbow, but Seesaw catches him and spins him around to the merry-go-round. He stops spinning, drops him, German suplex through the chair. The chair explodes and Seesaw goes for a cover. 1, 2, but Kenny kicks out. Yay, you do want to play. Let's see what we have to play with. Seesaw grabs a rocking horse, but the rocking legs are covered in barbed wire. Going to the extreme, Seesaw lifts it and shoves it into Freeman's back. The rocking horse is deep in the back of Freeman. What is Seesaw doing? He's sitting on the horse, and now he's rocking. The barbed wire is destroying Freeman's back. He's tapping, but Seesaw says, playtime doesn't end until I say it does. Seesaw stands on the seat, jumps up and double stomps the horse to make it dig in. one last time. You don't seem to like that one. I'm sorry. Let me put it up. Seesaw rips the horse out of Freeman. His flesh and blood are all over the rocking horse of the apocalypse. Get up, I'll let you choose the next toy. Seesaw just wants Freeman to choose. Freeman's got the G.I. Joes. And he says, choosing toys your scale, I see. We can be soldiers for a while. Seesaw charges in. Freeman presses the fire button. Pyro! Seesaw is on fire, but he's still coming in. The superfine turbine blast with limited edition fire effects. But Seesaw gores Freeman and plants him with a spine buster, all on fire. And then he stops, drops, and rolls safety first, while cackling the entire times. That was fun. Good choice, friend. My turn. Seesaw's got the pyramid. He waits for Freeman to get up. He's got him by the throat, but Freeman clubs Seesaw's arms off of him. Drop kick. Seesaw's still standing. Another one. Seesaw won't go down. A third, and Seesaw is teetering. Freeman charges in, going for the Hurricane Rana, but Seesaw catches him. Powerbomb on the pyramid. Thank God those were Legos, or Kenny would be impaled. Seesaw goes for the cover. 1, 2, but Freeman kicks out. Yes, you're a great playmate, Kenny. Your turn again. Kenny rolls out for a breather and says, come on, don't make me bored. Kenny's got a toy dart gun. Seesaw says, ooh, fun. Hit me with your best shot and fire away. Kenny pulls the trigger, but it's not a dart. Seesaw's got nails on the end. Kenny puts it down. Let me guess. You're an It's or a Nerf or Nothing kid, huh, Kenny? Kenny nods. Of course he is. Who doesn't like Nerf? Seesaw plants him with a sidewalk slam and says, sorry, friend. We can't get sponsors like that. Wow. Seesaw grabs the gun and shoots the nails into Kenny's hands. Oh, Lord. Kenny is stuck there and Seesaw's on the top rope. The flight of the ornithopter. The body splash to a trap Freeman. Seesaw with the cover. 1, 2, 3. It's over. It's over. Seesaw has destroyed Kenny in the toy box. Good Lord. It looks like he's finally done with his toy. No, it's a false finish. Kenny got his foot on the ropes. He's still fighting somehow. Wow, no one ever wants to play this long with me, Kenny. He ain't no Minute Man. I actually feel special. Here, let me take those nails out. I know you didn't like the last toy, so choose anything you want. Kenny does what every kid does at Christmas. He grabs the largest toy, the Pit of Vietnam, the barbed wire box spring filled with G.I. Joes. You chose my favorite, Kenny. I knew you cared about me. Kenny slaps him and says, no, I just want this to end. Seesaw's got him by the throat. So be it. Seesaw choke slams Kenny into the Pit of Vietnam. Seesaw dances with glee as Kenny is caught in the barbed wire. He lifts the box spring up on his shoulders and he flips it over the teeter-totter. The reverse DVD Death Valley driver plants Kenny face down under the pit. Seesaw pulls it off. He wants to play more, but Kenny's out cold. Playtime is over as Kenny is unconscious. Seesaw has demolished, same thing, Freeman in his toy box. He's made it clear that no one can take him out in his world. Poor Kenny Freeman. Toy Story. Hope we don't see a Woody. Kenny Freeman is out, unconscious. And the demented Seesaw is anything but. He skips around the toy box, absolutely thrilled. He had a play date he'll never forget, but now it's over. And now, Seesaw is sad. He looks down at Kenny and he says, Kenny, I'm afraid I lied to you before. I know I shouldn't have, but I couldn't help myself. He strokes Kenny's hair. I told you toys can leave the toy box. I wasn't lying about that, really, was I? After all, they can. What I kind of neglected to mention was that once a toy enters my toy box, this toy box, they can never leave. And that means you can never leave, friend. Freeman's still out. He doesn't even know what's going on. But it looks like you're a little broken, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe I can fix you up, huh? Yeah, that's right. I can make you as good as new. No, wait, I can make you better as new. He's got Freeman by the legs, dragging him off camera, and says, "You're going to be the best new toy in the toy box." And we jump forward. Kenny Freeman, alive and well, though his mouth looks a little odd. Seesaw's marching over with the controller in his hand and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to the Freeman Blaster, now with real exploding miniature rockets." He presses the button, and Kenny's mouth opens like a trap door, and a rocket fires out. Kenny Freeman's head is attached to a spike, dismembered from his body. A contraption is fed into the back of his head, feeding rockets through to the loading chamber that now exists within his mouth. Damn! He's become a toy in Seesaw's toy box. And Seesaw, he's pretty happy about this. Well, hot damn! And what do we have next? What is this? Pickpocket. Pickpocket. Man, that's badass. Pickpocket comes to Nitro, and you can't see it yet, but he'll be facing Mez. It is truly the Alex Clark show in this moment. Why did it do that? I don't know why it kicked it up to the top. Yes, he better have the monkey. What was the monkey's name? I don't remember what the monkey's name was. Was his name Monkey? Okay. Nitro. Come on, Nitro. Monday Night Nitro, the new show. The monkey was Buford. Okay. Maybe Ethan Rose can be a Nitro girl. I know you'd love it. Monkey Business, yes. All right, so Cars is going to be handling Pickpocket. Okay. You tried to kayfabe us, Cars. You tried to make us think that Freeman was going to go on. I see. What's next? Hell yeah! Luke Storm and Red Wing, The Last Action Hero. Great movie. You should watch it if you haven't. Thump, thump, thump. Luke Storm's heart thumps inside his chest. Oh, excuse me, as he runs up the stairs of the warehouse towards his poor, terrified daughter. By the time he reaches the roof and flings the fire escape door open, Red Wing's on the ledge with his arm around her throat. Wasn't this part of the plot of Last Action Hero? Something like this? I do not remember. Another step closer and I'll toss her right over the edge, King Storm. I do remember, I don't know that I think she died. Wasn't that, I don't know. Let's stop thinking about early 90s Arnold movies. Another step closer and I'll toss her over the edge. Storm stops dead in his tracks. It says, you took everything from me. Do you know how long I've searched for you? How long I've wanted to find you? But Luke says, you got the wrong man. Why would I murder an innocent family? Why would I do that to you? I don't have any motive, man. Red Wing says, he told me everything. He told me what they offered you, Luke. It's all come true, hasn't it? A big movie star, on top of the world, king of all you see. But I'm going to dismantle every part of it. Luke steps forward. Says, just think about it. I'm not a big movie star. I don't have the world at my feet. I've come here to provide for my daughter. Someone is lying to you. Can't you see that? You've changed. Something has changed you. You need to listen to me. If you do this when you come to your senses, you'll never forgive yourself. Red Wing says, don't lie to me, Storm. You took everything from me, and now it's my turn to return the favor. And he throws her off the edge. Damn it. Her screams are guttural as she plunges toward the ground below. Red Wing is a son of a bitch. Luke rushes over. Scarlet hits an open dumpster. But she's okay. Kind of. The Storm King doesn't even hesitate. He runs back for her. But Red Wing throws a red blade, knocking the handle clean off the fire exit door. If Storm wants to check on his daughter, he's gonna have to fight. It's time for a war. Two tortured souls who've known loss, who've known pain, who in a different life may have related to one another over a festive drink. Instead, they seek to spill each other's blood on the snow. Very epic. They lock eyes from the opposite sides of the dilapidated rooftop. Great word, dilapidated. The crane drawing a line in the sand or the snow between them. Red mist is in their eyes. Luke's breath rises in the cold air like the smoke from a dragon. The brooding Red Wing, man, you're really setting this up, whoever wrote this, is silhouetted against the snow like a hellish bat. The anger and hatred boils over. And Luke is the first to indulge it. He races across the roof. He leaps over skylights and vents, wincing with every step. Remember, he was in the hospital, getting a blood transfusion. As his wounds threaten to reopen, Red Wing flicks his cape back like a gunslinger removing his duster. He's got two red blades. A torrent of razor-sharp red blades slice through the air, even cleaving the snowflakes in half. Luke uses bullet time. He evades them all but one. He gets a fresh gash on his cheek as he races through Red Wing's defense, pins him against a crumbling chimney snack, and Luke punches the bare grip. An audible crack is heard. Ooh. Red Wing blinds him with his cape and rams his head into the brickwork. Luke stumbles away. The Killing Joke bulldog, but Storm pushes him off. Red Wing crashes through a skylight. Ha ha! I love a good skylight spot. But Red Wing is holding on. We may be about to witness the literal fall of a hero at Red Storm. But he's got a grappling gun. He's back on his feet, and a double tap lightning strike by Storm. One for the grappling gun, then one for Red Wing. The dazed and bloodied Crimson Justice teeters precariously over the edge. The perfect Storm ain't a meteorologist, though. He jumps up, goes for the downpour, but gets hit with a low blow. Quicker than lightning, the vengeful vigilante pulls Storm into the ripcord knee, the Godwatch, and blood gushes from Luke's nose like a fountain. He staggers back into the scaffolding. The entire erection rattles, sending masonry equipment from above crashing to the rooftop below. Both combatants disappear in the ensuing cloud of dust mixed with snow. Only their coughs and sputters giving some vague hint as to their whereabouts. The troubled movie star wanders blindly through the storm, holding his arms out. He elects to climb the scaffolding, but Red Wing swings off, drop kick to the chest. Luke plummets down to a lower lockway. His back cracks. If he isn't paralyzed, then he's hacking up a lung as blood oozes from his mouth. But he just keeps going. Rolling onto his gut, he forces himself onto all fours, then drags himself up the same narrow, rickety walkways he just conquered. But Redwing is just as desperate to get his hands on him as Luke is to get his hands on Redwing. Redwing with the curb stomp out of nowhere. Luke isn't moving. Redwing heaves his carcass to the top of the scaffolding over which the crane is positioned. He looks over his shoulder down at the broken skylight. Don't do it! The Red Knight hauls Luke up, drapes his arm around his neck. He's got him up in a brain buster, and he goes for the Red Justice. But no! Luke snags himself on the crane directly above them. Redwing looks up, and what goes up must come down. Thunder joins the blizzard. Luke Storm, Moonsault, Crane, Redwing. The scaffolding groans and collapses under the impact. They ride the lightning all the way down. OSHA's gonna have a field day. Wood, metal, masonry, snow, blood, broken bones, and bodies litter the cratered warehouse roof. They've taken each other to hell and back. Now as the mushroom cloud settles once again, they find themselves mere inches apart, draped over the ledge of the roof. Their faces bathed in the red light of the stolen ambulance. So far below, farther than the trip they just took. Storm stumbles away, and he dives at Redwing. They both tumble over the edge of the building. Oh my God, onto a fire escape below. Redwing's head thumps against the steel. Luke Storm lands on top of him, in a heap for protection. Redwing is out. He's unconscious. He won't feel like it, but Luke Storm is your winner. Hot damn. What happens next? This segment is entitled The Red Death. As Luke Storm escapes his battle victorious, with Redwing unconscious, he looks down from the fire escape to the dumpster below, but Scarlet is gone. His eyes adjust, his heart races, and then he sees it. A green van. Almost on instinct, Storm kicks free the fire escape ladder and watches it slide to the ground. He hops on. He moves as fast as he can towards the van. By the time he gets there, the back door's open. He peers around the door. There she is. Scarlet Storm. Only she isn't alone. She's once again in the possession of a man with no good intentions. Only this man is familiar. He's known. He's someone we've all come to fear. Wearing a green hat with a purple face mask and tie is someone everyone remembers, if only a little bit more insane. It's Edward Newton! Yes! And he says, You, Luke says, you're the one behind this. Edward winks and says, Of course. How long has it been? Too long, wouldn't you say? Storm goes to step forward, but Newton wags a finger, reminding him that it wouldn't be a good idea, and says, Now let's not do anything foolish. I wouldn't want to harm a hair on her pretty little head. After all, it's you I want, Mr. Storm. This whole saga has been designed to punish you, and punish you it has. It's far from over, though. And he says, Enough is enough, Edward. He says, Oh, you think I'll be the one who decides that? Where are my manners? We've met, but you've not formally been introduced to my associate. Redwing points behind them. It's Redwing! Redwing's his associate! Holy shit! Newton yells, You were supposed to wait until I introduced you, numbskull. The Red Death. I don't even think you guys can see this part yet. The Red Death, that's your moniker now. How am I supposed to introduce you if he's bloody unconscious? For the love of God, get him in the van. Edward Newton. Edward Newton is back. Redwing is the Red Death. Damn it. Hot damn. That That's got me hard, ladies and gentlemen. Edward Newton. Woo! All right. All right. I will say, though, we are going to take a breather from that to introduce something new. Introducing Hellstrom. I don't know anything about Hellstrom other than that's what he looks like. Welcome back, Zach. Hell yeah. That's what's up, Zach. Hellstrom looks awesome, man. Super hype to see him happening. Welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, man. From Edward Newton to Hellstrom. Oh, man. Oh, man. Take it in. Hellstrom. Dean does get full credit for the graphic. That is all him. Oh, here's some news. Edward Newton and Hellstrom will be booked on 191. Will we see a new streak? Or is he going to run into the storm? That's awesome. I don't know how far we are through the show, but I'm pretty spent already. Oh. I think I'm losing my voice. Okay, let's see. All right, let's take a look at Veritas and Mez. In a match, will Veritas escape? They're in the Mirror Lake Asylum. Veritas is in the last cell. If he can leave, he can have his freedom. But the only problem stands across from him, and it's none other than Mez. And Mez wants so badly to hurt him. A referee steps into the cell. You gotta have order. Excuse me. And closes the door behind him. No bell. This is no match. Veritas' freedom is on the line. Mez charges in, head first with the zeal we've come to expect. But a drop toe hold. Love that move. From Veritas spins Mez, falling face first into the cold concrete wall. His mask absorbs a great deal of the blow. And he's back up just as quickly as Veritas. And he's got him by the throat. He slams the truth teller against the wall. He does it thrice. Veritas' helmet saves him from a major concussion, but Mez's stranglehold is wearing him down too soon. Veritas desperately sends his knee up into Mez's little inmates. Mez lets him go, and a DDT onto the cold floor. Veritas makes the cover. 1, 2, that's not going to be enough. It's going to take more than that to slow down the unstoppable psychopath. But Veritas isn't letting Mez get his bearings about him. Patient Zero lays into him with several snap kicks that pop with every impact onto Mez's skin. Yet in spite of that, Mez is slowly working his way back to his feet. Each of the martial arts kicks seems less and less effective. Mez is to his knees. He's got Veritas' foot as he kicks and sends another kick at him. Veritas is hopping to remain standing as Mez reaches his feet. He drives his elbow down. Ooh, on Veritas' knee. Did he break his leg? Veritas is in pain. He hobbles away. But Mez, with the sedative, the spinning elbow into Veritas' temple. Veritas drops like a brick. Mez has got to cover. 1, 2, but no. Somehow the sedative wasn't enough to put Veritas out. An angry Mez drags him up to his feet. There's a wall of restraints in the middle of the room. He pulls Veritas towards the wall. He grabs his wrist and tries to force him to an iron shackle, but Veritas fights free. A punch to the throat. He's got his arms around his waist. A release, belly to belly. Mez collides into the wall of restraints. He slumps to the ground like a rag doll. Veritas drags Mez away from the wall and makes the cover. 1, 2, 3. No, he didn't do it. Mez kicked out at the last second. Veritas looks at that metal wall with restraints and looks back at Mez. The anarchy, the Luthez press from Mez. Punch after punch after vicious punch. Mez is beating him like he dreams of beating people every week. There may be nothing left of Veritas after this. But Veritas reaches up. Seeing is believing. The eye gouge. Through the Rocketeer helmet. He shoves his thumbs deep into Mez's eyes. Mez lifts him up and slams him onto the metal slab. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Veritas lets him go. The gut check by Mez. Right onto the metal slab. The wall topples over. Mez speared him so hard it fell over. Damn. He pins him on top of the slab. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Mez is won. Damn. He has defeated Patient Zero and guaranteed his stay. So what does that mean for Veritas? Woo! Escape from Mirror Lake is our next segment. With the match over, Mez crawls off into a straddling position, sat on the chest of Veritas, and says, "Why'd you want to fight me? I thought we could be friends." He grabs Veritas by the head, jamming both of his thumbs into his eyes. The truth seeker is bellowing in agony. "What are you doing?" Johnson bursts in screaming. But Mez does the unthinkable. He ignores him. Blood seeping out of his eye sockets as Mez pushes his giant thumbs deeper into his skull. "You told me that we'd be friends. I wanted a friend. The orderlies are rushing in. You said we could be friends. Crunch. Crack." The orderlies finally pull Mez away, dragging him into the waiting straitjacket. The warden walks over to the body of Veritas, his face bloodied and caved in. He reaches down, checking for a pulse, and says, "Fantastic, you killed him. What did I specifically tell you in private before this fight?" Mez lowers his head. "What did I tell you?" the warden says. "Not to kill him," Mez responds. "I would have made him pliant. I would have made him a member of our roster. I told you, I have plans to grow our roster. How am I supposed to make friends for you if you killed him?" The orderlies walk Mez away, who's disappointed. "Take him to the chamber," the warden says. "He must be punished." "No, please, not the chamber." Clearly, the warden has plans to create a roster of inmates that fight for him. Veritas didn't make the cut, but who's next? Unfortunately, Veritas found out the hard way that there is no escape from Mirror Lake. Oh, man. So I've got it set up to where I can see a little bit of what's coming. And I'm really, really happy to see this. Ha ha! Marvelo 2 coming to Nitro 191. Look at that fat Marvelo. Oh, it's amazing. Oh, it's amazing. Number 1. He's back. He's back. Oh, man. Yes, we need Raquel 3. Go back to the Raquel factory. Oh, man. Hey, the WWE creative team is now following. Thank you. All right, let's keep on going. It looks like this graphic didn't load all the way. With Mark Goldern and X in their match. This is not planned obsolescence. One of these augmented competitors is cutting edge, but the other is bleeding edge. It's time to find out which model is superior. Having seen with his own non-bionic eyes what X 2.0 is capable of, Goldern himself steps out from behind the ballistics glass and into the chamber, kicking aside the strewn remains of his cannon fodder robots. This is it, the final test. Mark stands at ease, confident in Talaris' analysis of every possible scenario. X stares at his creator hungrily, his newly improved optics performing its own combat diagnostics, whose equipment will give them the opening advantage. X strikes first. He pounces on Goldern with 50 cal rights and lefts, but Mark's on autopilot as Talaris takes over. He ducks under into the side of each shot. X goes to sweep the leg, but Mark hops over it, punches him right on top of the dome, grinding his vertebrae into each other. Telegon's CEO grabs X by his non-regulation hair and smashes his head off a piece of deployable cover. He then whips him back first into an opposing piece of cover. Goldern charges in after him, but X snatches a robot torso from the floor and throws it right into Mark's face. The visionary stopped dead in his tracks, his reinforced glasses still intact. And X spears him into the bulletproof glass wall. They bounce off it, splat to the cold steel floor. X recovers first and goes for the mount. But Mark, with teleboot, he monkey flips him over the top and into a pile of twisted, severed metal limbs. Night, Sam. The Herald of the Future's mechanic kicks propel him to the top of Mount Scrap, and he unloads on X with hydraulic-powered punches. The force of the blows buries X further into the pile, but Mark retrieves him and pulls him in close. In a calm but stern voice, he says, "Remember, I made you, and I can break you." Mark goes for the knockout, but X blocks the Let me try that sentence again. But X blocks the telegauntlet with his bionic arm. The unflappable Goldern raises his eyebrows in surprise before struggling to try and overpower the competing technology. The assassin holds the telegauntlet at bay. You can practically see the Matrix-like codes raining in his red eye as it furiously crunches numbers, his bionic arm overclocking. A guttural roar escapes X, and he hurls Mark off the scrap heap into the floor below. Goldern troubleshoots the Combat 2.0 suit while writhing in pain. It can withstand punishment, of course, but that was a hard fall, and it's rattled something loose. Mark crawls backwards to buy himself time, but X bears down. Talaris takes over once more, and the teleboot kicks in. Ruthless inspiration, no! X has got the teleboot. He's holding him there mid-drop kick. Goldern has never been outclassed like this before. He trips the quick release and falls to the floor. The lethal weapon stands on his ankle to prevent him from moving. He pulls him up and leans in course. close, retorting, "Nobody can break me." With that, he winds back. The execution! The disruption! What? The double axe handle collides with the Superman punch. They're both down. With their various extensions and appendages, both warriors are camouflaged by the sea of broken metal in that which they now swim. X rises. Mark looks up at him through the floor with cracked lenses. He tries to stealthily tap a button, but X cuts him off with the Tongan death grip. Yeah! Goldern fights it. The bionic arm exerts enough pressure. It's got him unconscious. The creation has bested its inventor, but is X truly superior? Or is Mark just waiting to hit the kill switch? Hell yeah. Wasn't expecting that. What's going on with these guys after? Command prompt. Nobody likes command prompt. Mark Goldern is back to his feet. He looks down at X, who's slowly coming to. And he says, "Can you feel it now? Can you feel the power?" X pulls himself to a kneel. And he says, "I can. It feels different." Mark holds out a hand. X accepts it. Are they going to become buddies? Your past is your past, but you get to decide your future, Goldern says. These upgrades make you better. They make you more powerful than you could ever hope to be. He takes them to a monitor replaying their encounter. He says, "I can remove them. I can hand you the flash drive and you can continue on your mission to find the truth. Or you could join Imperium, take the flash drive, keep your upgrades, and I will personally help you find out about your past." And he says, "You've been a puppet for so long. You've been commanded, prompted, pushed, and prodded for the entirety of your life. I'm offering you the chance to take control of your destiny. I'm offering you the chance to work with us for money, power, and glory. Do it, X. Join Imperium." X says, "As an equal?" "As an equal," Goldern says. "No command prompts, no mind games, no control. You'd be an equal partner in Imperium, sharing in the profits of our plans to dominate globally. We'll work together to unravel the mystery of your past while achieving a collective goal. You'll be a soldier before the collective." X says, "For the first time in my life, I'm going to take control. No orders, no superiors. I'm in." Yes! They shake hands. Imperium. X is an Imperium. A soldier who not only fights for them, but for himself. I like it. I like it. Oh, the hits keep coming. Sigil, Darby Sorrow, the Butcher. Entitled The Greater Good. We're back in the meat locker. Darby Sorrow standing toe-to-toe with Sigil, his hand wrapped around his throat. Hanging from a meat hook behind him, his 53-year-old son. When we last left them, Sigil was moments away from telling Darby the truth, and that's where we join them tonight. "Power," the Void Walker says. "Isn't it obvious? What you've kept hidden holds a great wealth of power. That power can be harnessed." Darby's dumbfounded, says, "You did this all for power?" The Butcher says, "The world's gone to shit, kid. Since every god died, the planet's turned into a murderous cesspool. No one cares anymore. But that trinket," Sigil says, "can change all that. What Steven did in stealing it from the Red Skull Order is open up a world of possibilities," the Butcher says. "With it, we can change the course of history." The Void Walker shoots at Butcher a look, just as if to say nothing more. Darby says, "You've tortured me and put me through hell. You've hacked off pieces of my family, and now you claim it's all for the greater good?" Sigil nods. Says, "Look, you can fight, you can hurt me. You can take your revenge inside this room and walk away with your son. All you have to do is take me to the item," Sigil says, looking sorrow dead in his eyes. "But if you don't, if you refuse, there is nothing in your world across hundreds of years that I won't decimate until you do." The Gravedigger says, "I'll take you to it, but I have conditions." And the Butcher wants to know, what do you want? Well, hot damn. Okay. So the gravedigger's going to take him. What is this object? And where the hell is it? But first, they're going to fight in the meat locker. Hell yeah. The butcher is there watching on. No bell. Only the gruff voice of the butcher, who beckons Sigil and Sorrow together before stepping back into the background. Both men oblige and come to blows in between the rows of hanging beef carcasses. Brutal clubbing blows are exchanged by both men. Sorrow rocks Sigil with a swift elbow. Sigil retaliates with a flurry for the collection. He backs Sorrow up against the cow carcass and goes for the face. Eyes, nose, mouth, and throat, he's attacking them all. He hits the leaping roundhouse kick, finite, but no! Sorrow drops to the ground and the planeswalker kicks nothing but cow. While Sigil's leg is caught up in the carcass, Sorrow grabs the leg and lifts him into the air. A leg hook German suplex to the meat locker floor, the back of Sigil's head bouncing off the concrete. Darby continues to take advantage of the opening, taking himself over to a set of shelves with assorted meatworks tools. Sorrow's got a cattle prod. Sorrow pokes him with it. Sigil is writhing in agony. A second prod. Right in the ribs. And he says, "Give up, do you yield?" No. Sorrow's words are met immediately. A third prod. The planeswalker writhes about and howls, ends up lying face down and still. Sorrow tosses the prod aside and it skids over to the feet of the butcher who watches on. Darby climbs up a concrete ledge along the wall of the meat locker, where a collection of hooks hang from the roof. He takes a meat hook in each hand before placing his hands across his chest. Coffin drop onto the concrete. No, Sigil gets his knees up. Right into the back of Sorrow. Both the hooks tear gashes into Darby's shoulders. Tenderized meat. Sorrow splutters and wheezes, gasping for air from the impact that's winded him. Sigil's up to his feet. He's got one of the meat hooks. He stabs it into the flesh, the shoulder of Sorrow. And he says, "Your turn. End it now. Go to hell." The response. Darby's screams echo around the room as Sigil pulls the hook free again. Merciful! The vicious chop sees Sorrow collapse sideways into a hanging meat carcass. He's dazed, he's bleeding, but he's holding onto that skin cow for dear life. Sorrow will not quit. Sigil's got a meat cleaver. With Darby's hand placed on the cow's carcass for support, Sigil looks to pass on some of the son's ailments to the father. He goes for the fingers. It hits flesh. But no, Sorrow moved. The cleaver is stuck in the cow carcass. Sigil takes his meat hook and runs it the length of Sorrow's back, opening a huge gash. This time Sorrow does howl in agony. He falls to the ground and scrambles away, dropping his own hook. He hides behind a couple of meat carcasses and tries to pull himself together. But boom! The long road ahead from nowhere. Darby's on the ground and the planeswalker atop him. Elbow barrage to the face of Sorrow. Heavy blows that look to knock him out. Darby goes limp and looks over to the butcher to say if he's done, but the butcher does not respond. Sigil kicks the carcass of Sorrow, but no signs of life or response can be found. Sigil grabs him by the wrist and tries to pull him to his feet. Wait, a flicker to the eye! Sorrow's awake, cradle to the grave. Not in all of it. He didn't catch all of it, but he got enough to send Sigil backwards into the wall of meat. Darby's got his meat hook. He charges in. He swings the hook, aiming for the jugular of his foe, but gets nothing but air. Sigil sidesteps. Double axe handle, it's disarmed Sorrow. Both men scramble for the meat hook, but it's Sigil's hands that grab it first. The meat hook hits home. No scream from Sorrow, only because the meat hook has pierced his neck. Right into his throat. Holy shit. A gargling sound escapes Sorrow's mouth as he tries to cry out to no avail. Sigil attaches the meat hook to the overhead bar and hoists him into the air. Darby Sorrow's feet leave the ground. He's hanging by his neck and he can't breathe. This is sick. Sorrow is dead. Sigil has won the match. Damn. He looks over at the Butcher for confirmation, but the Butcher shakes his head. Darby Sorrow never quit. It's not over. Sorrow is dead, but the match is not over. A foot twitches. Sorrow's back. Darby frees the meat hook from his neck. He nails the coffin drop off the meat hook. Sigil turns around with another meat hook and catches Sorrow in the shoulder. Sigil has him on his back and he drives the meat hook home and says, "Just give in. This only ends one way." Sorrow says no the best he can. Sigil yells, "Just say it." Sigil pulls it free and Sorrow screams out louder than before. Okay, I give in. That's enough. Darby Sorrow has won. Whew. Sigil has put Darby Sorrow through hell. Hot damn. What a match. Big ups to Sigil for the win. Damn. Woo. All right. Now, for what you've all been waiting for.
Please help me. Help me.
All right. The Crypt Keeper is here. Dawson was wrong. The Crypt Keeper is here. He's facing all of Imperium now. The Crypt Keeper, handled by Cal, so you are actually technically right. Debuting on Nitro 191, Cal and Mel are back. Hot damn. And Zach. It's going down. Oh. 191 be stacked? Oh, man. But Red Snow's not over. Red Snow's not over. Right now, we're about to take a look at the Theater of Dreams. We're at ringside. There's tension inside the ring. Beg has got his championship, looking smug as usual. Alton Whitlock is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Beg produces a microphone, and the crowd lets him have it. "Have you made your decision?" he asks. Alton is disgusted and says, "Since the start of my political career, I've looked out for the best interests of the people. And to continue with you would be to put my interests above theirs." And Green says, "Well, why shouldn't you?" Whitlock says, "Because that's not the politician I chose to be." Yeah, baby, face up, baby. That's every other politician, but never me. But before Alton can say another word, Stephen makes his way down the entrance ramp, much to the surprise of his employer. Stephen says, "Stop this, I figured it out." Stephen says, "I've spent all weekend tracing our funding." And wham! Oh shit. It was going to be a secret. Green nails him with the title. Whitlock goes to Stephen, drops to his knees to check on him. Begg says, "He wants you to know the dirty little secret, old chum." But none of this is by accident. Many moons ago, I was searching for the perfect candidate, and as you well know, men uncorrupted by power are few and far in between. Alton says, "What?" But Begg says, "That's when I found you, a man on a mission to do great things. I funded your campaign from the very start. From the moment you secured your very first check, it came from me. Look at the evidence he brought if you don't believe me. I'm your key benefactor, and I always have been. And yes, I pulled my funding at Drag 'em to Hell, but I had good reason." "You did this to me?" Alton says. "You put me through hell, and for what? Your own amusement?" "No. I put you through hell so you can finally see what true power is. I can make you the president of the United States of America. Give you power, make you the leader you yearn to be. For your benefit. For our benefit," Begg says. "Don't you see? I have everything you want. I can make you the man. I can deliver you this country, and together we will be unstoppable." The crowd wants Whitlock to fire up. But Begg says, "Think about it. We can rip each other to shreds. You can get your vengeance for being a puppet in my theater of dreams. But as long as you lay down and let me win, all yours will come true. Money, power, glory. The man who scarred you for life, found, punished, and put behind you." Green closes in further, standing right on top of Alton. The entire country in the palm of your hand. But a crunch! Alton Whitlock with the right hand. It looks like he's made his decision. Berkshire, Ellison Green, you're in for it now, brother. He's fired up. It's gonna be a war, brother. For the title. Let's see if I can make it through this without losing all the way. Alton Whitlock with the right hand. It's all on for love and war. Begg reels. Whitlock brings it a second time. A wild haymaker follows the first. Alton Whitlock is taking the fight to Begg. He's on the ground, scrambling backwards to try and get out of the strike zone. But Whitlock backs him right up into the corner and begins to stomp the holy hell out of him. Each stomp lands with vinegar and a desire to crack ribs, and Begg has no answer. Only when Whitlock has made a permanent imprint on the sole of his shoe on Begg's $1,000 suit does he stop. But even then he only stops in order to hoist Begg up onto the turnbuckle itself. Top rope belly to belly. Begg is planted in the middle of the ring, and Alton is feeling the buzz of the crowd. He leaps off with a diving leg drop. But Begg rolls out of the way. Alton crashes and burns on the canvas. Both men reach their feet at about the same time, and one more. It's all on for young and old. They trade blows, right hands that rock the other. As the battle wears on, neither bothers to even defend himself against the incoming strike. Brutal right from Whitlock, an uppercut from Begg. Low blow. Begg took the battle downtown. Whitlock goes down like a $2 hooker. This is the time where Begg can take the fight to him. The ankle lock. Begg's got it locked in. He positions himself between Whitlock and the nearest ropes. The only way free is for Whitlock to kick Begg away from him. And that's what he does. But Whitlock's foot's caught by Begg. A modified figure 4. Whitlock's face is filled with agony. He's gonna tap out. But just as he raises his hand up, he's ready to tap, but he finds another gear. He pulls himself over to the ropes and uses them to throw Begg off balance. The hold is broken. Whitlock lives. Both men reach their feet and look set to trade blows, but this time Begg is having none of it. and he goes straight for Whitlock, which catches him off guard. The $1 Million Dream! Beg's got it locked in, and Whitlock is fainting. But no, a thumb to the eye from Whitlock. The actions of a desperate man. Whitlock takes the fight to Beg, who's still blinded. The Blue Thunder Bomb. Ba-boom! Beg is planted right in the center of the ring, but Whitlock isn't done. He picks him up and wastes no time in moving to his next assault. A slap across the cheek of the dazed financial mogul. Better world, he hits the vertebraker. It's all Whitlock. It's his time. Finally, he hooks the leg, goes for the pin. 1, 2, this is it. 3, 4, 5. The crowd keep on counting. The ref escaped the ring. He's distracted at ringside. A pile of money falling from the rafters. The fans, the ref, everybody gets what they can. And Beg simply sits up and grins. Oh, Whitlock cleans his bell once more. Seated uppercut. The ref goes for the pin. 1, 2, but Beg kicks out this time. Whitlock snaps Beg up. He's got him up for the vertebraker. He hits it again. The ref's in. 1, 2. No, Beg kicks out of a second vertebraker. The second better world fails. He got the shoulder up, barely, but it was enough. Whitlock, stunned, he picks Beg up. But Beg reaches out and grabs him around the throat, choking him with his bare hands. Whitlock turns purple. The pyramid scheme, he moves to the triangle. The ref is in perfect position to catch any sign of submission, but for now, Whitlock gives him none. Defiant eyes that utter no words of quit. Whitlock tightens the hold. He's screaming at him to tap out. Whitlock screams out a defiant no. The submission specialist in Beg moves from hold to hold, each looking at a different pressure point he can manipulate. Each one wears Whitlock down a little more, and every man has his limit. Beg maneuvers himself. He flips the hold around. The financial crisis. Whitlock's hands in the air. He's gonna tap. He's going to. But Beg releases the hold. What? He's released him from the financial crisis. He had him right there on the edge. What the hell is going on? Green stands to his feet. He helps Whitlock to his own feet. What the hell's happening? Green nods at him and points at the mat. Whitlock lays down. He lays down for Beg. Oh no! Beg grins. He places a foot on Whitlock's chest. 1. No. 2. Come on. 3. This one's over. It's over! The finger poke of doom! Beg has retained his title. Alton Whitlock handed it to him. The fans, they're throwing empty trash cans in the ring. Green is still your OSW champion and the fans hate it. Ha ha, that's awesome. Beg and Whitlock embrace. In a seat of abuse, they've joined together. And Beg is still the damn champion. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Badass finish. Oh man, and the show's not over. It's Sigil. It's Sorrow. It's Butcher. The Timekeeper's masterpiece. Snow falls outside the window of a moving vehicle. The Butcher's driving, and Darby Sorrow in the passenger seat. Behind them, Sigil looks out the window. They come to a stop outside an old shack in a snowy field. Secluded and surrounded by trees, Sorrow steps out of the car first. The headlights left on to illuminate the wooden building. He walks forward with Butcher and Sigil in tow, entering the shack. Excuse me again. Sorrow opens up a unit pulling out a lockbox and placing it down on the wooden table. He takes a key from inside his pocket and opens it, sitting there dusty and old as a pocket watch. They all just look at it. This is it? Butcher says. The old pocket watch is the source of untold power? Sigil steps forward and inspects the watch. He looks at Butcher, at Sorrow, and presses one of the buttons on the side, and the watch glows green. A brighter hue of green than you've ever seen in your life. And then nothing. The Voidmaker tilts his head, but there's silence. Nothing. Damn it, he barks, storming over to the door. It doesn't work. He looks out onto the snowy field. Only something odd has happened. The snow has stopped. Not just stopped, but stopped falling. It's suspended in air. Stopped dead where it was when he pressed the button. Looking back at the Butcher, he walks over, waving his hand in front of his face. Again, there's nothing. The Butcher doesn't move, doesn't breathe, doesn't blink. You found it, booms a voice. Sigil is immediately startled, turning around to see a figure stood now in the doorway. The time crystal. Are we going to get an infinity gauntlet? The Voidwalker steps backwards. Relax, says the voice. My name is Flavo, and I mean you no harm. I come on behalf of the Red Skull Order, and I wish to discuss your discovery of our crystal. How are you here? Sigil demands to know. I've stopped time. You shouldn't be able to move. Everything else is halted in place, Wald Flavo remarks, entering the room and taking a seat. He offers a chair to Sigil with a hand, who carefully takes it. We're the only two beings in the universe currently aware. There's a greatness in that, isn't there? Sigil says, this doesn't affect you? I'm afraid not, Flavo replies. What do you want from me? Sigil says. Flavo says, to the point with it, then. You found something that belongs to us, something powerful. Stephen took our crystal and placed it into a timekeeper. He bound it to this pocket watch and intended to go back in time and stop Darby Sorrow from acquiring his immortality. Okay. Sigil gets it. But that never happened. And now you have it in your possession. Our artifact and crystal, we must retrieve them. Sigil says, I find it interesting that you're asking me this instead of simply taking it. That leads me to believe that you can't. Flavo laughs and says, it isn't that we can't, Sigil, but you're now bound to it. When someone activates a crystal, it becomes part of them. We must discuss our next step. Sigil says, our next step? I don't think so. Let me introduce you to some people I know. Sigil's about to press the button on the watch when suddenly everything falls apart around him. The Butcher is gone. Darby Sorrow is gone. The cabin, snow, and chairs, everything is gone. Sigil stands in the middle of nothing but pitch black and says, where am I? What's going on? Welcome to Ananis, Flavo replies. The empty. Everything you know is folded away. There's no old school wrestling, no Earth, no space, no universe, and no collection. Your timepiece won't work here because here, time is empty. The Voidwalker tries to use his powers to switch to another universe, another dimension, another reality. But he goes nowhere. Until we resolve this, nothing but this reality will exist. Okay. Okay. Sigil, you're an asshole. You destroyed reality. But the Red Skull Order seems to have the power. What the hell is going on? That's it. Dawson has restarted OSW. Bring in the marvelous Master Chef. And that's Volume 2. Thanks for watching. Well, hot damn. Dean says he's not going to up himself. We killed all the gods, now we've destroyed reality. What a finale. What a cliffhanger. How the hell are we going to come back from that? Oh, man. Ooh, card info. All right, who's ready for some cards? Hella matches in our main event. In an Inferno match, it's gonna be Luke Storm versus the Red Death. We're doing it again, Chris. In his long-awaited return, Edward Newton will face Junkrat. That should be a good one. Darby Sorrow will take on Obasi Bokamo. The debuting Hellstrom will take on Scrimshaw. The debuting Crypt Keeper will take on the Judge. The re-debuting Pickpocket will take on Mez. That one was already announced. In a trios match, Mark Goldern, Alton Whitlock, and Berkshire Ellison Green will take on ASAP, Banzan, and Marvelo 2. And a character I've never heard of, Javad Ibadi, will take on Seesaw. Should be a hell of a card. Oh. Hell yeah. Oh, man. What a show, guys. Hell of a card coming up. We saw some debuts. We saw some deaths. We saw reality destroyed. Holy shit, it's Pat. Hell yeah, son. Welcome. Dean must have left off the Brent Kirsch return match. He's saving the return of the Shadow Enforcers. Pat's probably been lurking the whole damn time. It wasn't Red Snow, it was Pat Snow. Brent Snow, there it is. There it is. All right, guys. I feel like shit. So, Dean, do we have anything else? And yes, Pat, Shadow Enforcers. You know you want to do it. All right, man. Thanks for joining us. Since I'm going out of town pretty much first thing tomorrow, I have no idea. It'll probably be Thursday before anything gets uploaded to YouTube. So be on the lookout for that. There'll be a post up as always. And really appreciate everybody from joining us. We had a bunch of good people out here. Had a lot of viewers. So awesome. Glad to have you guys out here. We'll do it again some point in the future. for season 2 of volume 2. Have a good night and take care of yourselves. Merry Christmas.